You joined Clyde back in 1970. How did you come to sign, and what was it like to sign for the club at that time?
Well, obviously it was an achievement signing with not a full-time but a professional club. I was actually playing with St Robert's Juniors at the time, and through another contact, Mike Clinton's friend, a guy called Joe Leach. He took the football team at Bernarda College at that time, and I had played games for them. So Joe Leach made it aware to Mike Clinton that, you know, he saw someone that might interest him. So they kept tabs on me at St Roch's, and came in and made an early approach, actually beating Hibs to the line on it. So that's how I came to join Clyde.
Yeah, it was Archie Robertson that signed you and obviously gave you your debut. You stated in today's programme that he was the best manager you worked under at your time at Clyde. Well, what made him stand out?
Everything made Archie Robertson stand out. Even just his stature, his presence, the way he went about. He was very much way ahead of his time. Very articulate. He was a university graduate, Glasgow University with honours. So he was, was an educated man, always groomed very well, collar and tie, but his attention to detail was something beyond. I mean, he had things away before anybody else, stretching before game. He brought a guy in called, I'm sure it was Joe Aitchison, a wee guy in his 60s or 70s, who used to take us for stretching exercise before training. I mean, it was incredible. We were 40 minutes stretching, and to this day, even now, I still do my stretching exercise. But it was notable that this was part of my pre-match. But he did all these things. He took us for pre-match meals. He brought all this in. Pre-match meals. We would come in certain games, big games. We would come in at 11 o'clock and do a warm-up session, away ahead each time. And these were things that people started to look at, and one especially was Jock Stein. Jock Stein was never away from Schofield. I didn't know this at the time, but he was never away from Schofield. He had that great admiration for Archie's way of thinking about the game in general, retention of the ball. That was his whole aim, that if you've got the ball, then they're not going to do anything towards you. And I remember he came in at one game and we'd won about 4-0, and we were all sitting there proud as punch, waiting and accolades from Archie. And he came, collar and tie, and he just, gentlemen, I would like to congratulate you today. And we were expecting who played what, whose role, who scored the goals, pats in the back and all that. He said, at one stage today, you had 23 consecutive passes. Well done. And walked out. And we all sitting there looked at one another going, what's that about? But it proved the point, and it was total football they tried to play,
Yeah, I would say, I'm just guessing that your highlight of your time at Clyde was winning the league in 72-73. How did it feel to win the league, considering you got relegated the season before? How important was it to get back?
At that particular time, when I came into the team, there was a lot of older players, or players over 30. Good players, but obviously reaching that stage in their career whereby the legs were going. And Archie, in a period of a year, 18 months, transformed that to a team that was almost under 21, although we did have Tommy McCulloch, Jimmy Burns. We had a few older players, John McHugh, who were still there as the guiding lights as the older players. So he had to change the whole outlook at Clyde and bring in a more youthful blend of players. And I think that's what he achieved. That his achievement came by these young players, coaching them, showing us the right things to do, how to go about your whole aspect of being a professional footballer. He was very into developing the young player, and obviously to win the league for him that year and bring us back up in such a short space of time gave him great recognition, but also it was very satisfying for us.
Did you go into that season knowing that you would win the league, or was it just...
Well, I think we had been developing the year before, and I think there was an expectation that we could do something big, It's very, again, young players. Archie used to say, what you've got to try and achieve is 9 out of 10 performances. If I can get 9 out of, nobody's going to achieve 10 out of 10 good performances is very difficult. If you get 9 good performances out of 10, he says I want to see he's been able to come out and play a game as if you open a box and it's a new pair of shoes. Every time you come out, it's something that you're proud of, and this is the way he develops your mentality as well as everything else. To be looking forward to doing your very best, listening to his teachings, and hopefully what happened was we benefited from it.
In your 6 years at the club, you played in over 150 games. Is there any of them that stand out for you as one of the best games that you played in?
Well, the games that always stood out were the Old Firm games, because you're talking 25,000. People wouldn't believe that. You're talking 25,000 at Schofield. I mean, it was just an unbelievable atmosphere, because such a tight stadium. The fans were almost on top of you, so there was great pride in taking part in those days, and we ran Celtic and Rangers close quite a few times. No doubt they saw the relevance of Archie's play, and how we made it difficult for them. I mean, there was games that we drew to each with Rangers at Schofield, and we were ahead twice. There was games where we were 2-0 up against Celtic, and that was more or less the basis of the Lisbon Line team. But then in the second half, our legs gave way as a younger team, and obviously part-time team, and the sort of more or less steamrolled us, and that was under Jock Stein. So they ran out 4-2 winners. So these games are very memorable, as in being big games, and they were treated as big games, and we were treated as big team players, with going for pre-match meals and doing all the proper preparations. Archie was very articulate to that.
Scored 10 goals in the title winning season. Is there any that you would pick out as your favourite or best goal?
Probably the best goal I remember is, and I'm not renowned for, I've scored some distance shots, etc. But the one that stands out for me was against Rangers, believe it or not, and it was for a corner kick, and I ran off with Alan McDonald at the edge of the 18-yard box. Somehow I got in front of everybody and nodded one in at the near post. So that stands out, because the crowd there, and we stunned them a bit, and I think that was a game we went on to draw 2 each.
Was there any teammates that you played alongside that you thought that guy's a player?
Well, I mean, everybody knows that Danny McGrain, God rest him, the late Danny, cousin of Danny that played for Celtic, who obviously I went on to play with as well. He was a tremendous competitor. He was a future Scotland player without doubt. He was captain of the team, I think, at 16, 17. He was the youngest captain ever, and he was captain of Clyde. And he showed that, he showed it. Played the game hard, he was fair, he was just non-stop. He had different types of abilities, a real leader on the park. Only a wee guy, fuzzy hair, I remember. The older supporters will remember wee Danny's fuzzy hair, and the way he went about the game. He was just wholehearted in every game. So he was one that would stand out for me. There was other players there. Young Joe Ward, Stevie Archibald, who went on to great things. These players were very good players, but wee Danny, because he was my age and in my era and my team, he stands out. And obviously the serious injury put him back, and he didn't, unfortunately, wasn't able to fulfil his potential and what he could have achieved in the game.
You were in charge of Alloa the last game at Schofield. What was it like to come back? Was there any emotional attachment there?
It was fabulous to come back, and I was still player manager, so it was great to come back, and especially being the last game. It was just something different. But I remember I played against young Ian Ferguson who was probably 16 or 17 or 18, something like that, and I was obviously in my mid-30s, and he kicked me all over the park. He was just a hardy player, but a good player, and I'll never forget that Ian Ferguson went on to do great things, because I said after the game, boy, he'll make you big time up there. Ian Ferguson obviously went on and played with Rangers, but he was a great acquisition for Clyde at that time.
And just finally, what was your favourite story from your 6 years at Clyde to tell?
Favourite story? Oh, there's many stories, many good stories, as in dressing room stories. But there was a favourite we used to chuckle at when Ed, what's his name now? I've lost it a wee bit there. Stan Anderson, sorry. When Stan Anderson, the manager, and we used to wait. Stan used to come in pre-match before we went onto the pitch, and he would go around in each individual player. They'd all be sitting there waiting an instruction, and after he gave the instruction, he'd go around every player, they would go, ah! And you had to go, ah! Back to show that your dander was up and you were ready for the fight, and that always stood out. It was bizarre, and after we did it we felt, right, it's his turn, and he went round the whole dressing room, and everybody had to give this big bizarre roar as if we were, you know, lions going out of the fight, you know. So that is a particularly funny story.